Everybody ready? All right. Just extremely disappointing outcome tonight. Obviously a game that we needed to win. Needed to go out and play our best, and it didn't show up. Didn't coach good enough. Didn't play good enough. Obviously, a lot of opportunities throughout the course of that game. You wanted to start fast. Fell behind in the first quarter. Proud of the guys in the response there in the second quarter. Made a defensive play. Able to get a couple of touchdowns. But third quarter, obviously, had some mistakes and fell behind and just they were able to really control the game through the end. And it's disappointed for every player. The work that's gone in. The expectations of our play, and when that doesn't show up, it's infuriating. And apologize to our fan base. Everybody associated with the university, and deserve better than what we just showed. And I'm just really disappointed in the outcome and the way that we played.
Now that the offseason is here, I think fans are going to want to know what changes are coming. Are you able to talk about what some of those could be at this point?
No, I mean, it's right now just coming out of the game. Obviously, we've got to be better, and we've got to be drastically better from what we've shown. And so obviously there's a time and place for all that, and we'll get to that here soon.
Any idea why you guys couldn't slow the ball down and get 266-yard rush?
Yeah, I mean, it's we had opportunities. A lot of missed tackles. There's times that we've got to put ourselves in better position too. Coaches, players, had a couple of alignment issues. They were able to get to the edge, and sometimes just force a one-on-one, and whether we didn't trigger fast enough or just flat out just miss a play. That opens a lot of opportunity for a very talented back. We came into it saying as a guy that you have to stop, and for him to have that kind of production, it was a complete failure.
Chris, you spoke of a quick and immediate fix last offseason. When you went into the offseason, what did you not do that didn't allow that to happen this season?
There's a lot of levels to that. I thought that we showed flashes, and I do believe in some of the areas of growth of what we showed. Some of the young players, some of the playmaking ability. We still had too much inconsistency of that throughout a program. A couple new coordinators, some new faces, and we weren't good enough in sustaining that. And we would have played really well at times. And then obviously just lacked a consistency of just playing clean complementary football, and that's where for us, I mean the fight, I think it's been there throughout the course of the year. I think the guys have showed response. I think that they I do believe in the young talent that we have and some of the playmakers that have emerged, but it's just the importance of execution in the moment, and and the importance of making sure that we're consistently putting our guys in a best position for what they need, for what they do, and obviously what needs to be done throughout the course of a game. And all in all, we're not good enough at that. And like I said, start of the season, the way we began, some really good things. We did face some adversity, and you had some things that didn't go the way we wanted, and a lot of close games, and just those are some of those details, some of the way that we handled those situations. I mean, just absolutely have to be better. And there's some things that happen that were outside of our control in some dynamics of it, and but for what showed up tonight, that just wasn't good enough in any regards, to as coaches, players, any aspect of it. And so we've got to develop that consistency. I do believe in, like I said, I believe in the talent, the ability. I believe in some of the things that we were able to put on display. But we've got to become a more consistent football team.
Do you consider coordinator change, or is your preference to have continuity with the hope that the young guys and the coordinators have trends in the right direction?
Well, I mean, you saw flashes of improvement, across the board, and then we saw some really bad, some really bad moments of how we played, and obviously it wasn't good enough. I mean, we know that, but like I said, just there'll be a time and place for all parts of that evaluation. But I do believe we've shown growth, just for what we need and how we need to be able to play, as a football team. It takes us all, and man, we got to do a better job of that, especially in these moments.
Last time you guys won the road games here 2 years ago, I know you talked about changes and you saw you guys take the kickoff instead of deferring, but how do you try and quantify 2 years on the road and just something's not working for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's each game is its own game, and if you allow it to, we've had our opportunities in multiple road games to finish with a win, and whether it's one play or whether you just don't play as good as you're capable of, throughout a contest. I mean, you try to address areas of disconnect. You try to make sure that you're presenting a lot of different scenarios, options. You're just had to have a team go out there and regardless of what shows up there on the road. I mean, just play the play, and I think that we have let that snowball on us, and to go 2 years without a road win. I mean, it's incredibly disappointing. But you try to meet each team at where they are, and with each individual, and ultimately didn't do a good enough job in that here this season.
Can you talk through the decision to go for it on fourth down on the outside field, because then you don't get it and they go down?
Yeah, I mean, it's trying to extend the drive. I mean, they'd had some success. Obviously, we did get the early stop. Coming down to the third quarter, got to a 4th and 1. Felt high percentage. In our mind and conversion in 4th and 1 situations this year, it's very high percentage for us. Tommy got to the edge, bang bang play there at the sticks with, going to run pass option as you're sitting there, in that situation, and we came up short, and unfortunately weren't. They went down 3 plays, and we're able to. Got a couple explosive plays and scored a touchdown. But just trying to extend the drive, trying to put points on the board. Done at a pretty high level in those 4th and short situations, but I've said did not get it done there.
Anything else?
Just like, what's your approach? I know the game just ended, but what's going to be your approach now, like in the short term, and coming off the season, the changes you want to make, talking to the players, like what does that look like over the next?
Yeah, I mean, we'll immediately get. We're gonna we'll meet tomorrow afternoon. I mean, it's gonna, we're going to work, and we're going to, assess, address, do everything that's necessary to go get it better and get it fixed. And we, this is a championship level program, and we need to be competing for championships. And I absolutely believe that there's the talent within this team, and there's talent coming to this team, and that we will be going to add to this team that will put us in position to compete for championships. And that takes every day, every moment, all work, players, coaches, every aspect of our football program that has to make that investment. And so it starts immediate. And when it comes to any changes, when it comes to any of those big picture things, obviously we'll address that and do what we need to do when the moment's there. And so it's not I'm gonna handle that, and myself, administration, players. I mean, we're gonna meet with this week, and like I said, we have to go to work, and we have to go and get it done, and we have to get it, have to get it better. And, I do believe in a lot of the, young talent that showed up throughout this year, and, the ability that they've shown. And, we've got to learn from the experiences that we've had, and, from the players, coaches, everybody involved. We got to take ownership of it and go get better.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.